We are taught to view the education system as a perfectly neutral ladder. The promise is that anyone can climb it, with enough hard work, regardless of where they start. But decades of cognitive psychology and neuroscience reveal a different reality. The ladder operates on a strict set of unwritten, invisible rules. The hidden curriculum is an implicit set of cultural norms dictating how a student should behave, operating beneath the standard grading rubric. These expectations favor the middle class, requiring traits like fierce independence, comfort questioning adults, and aggressive self-advocacy. Middle-class parents actively train their children to exhibit these exact behaviors through a parenting style sociologists call concerted cultivation. They deliberately schedule structured activities and teach their kids to treat adults as equals to be negotiated with. By the time these children reach kindergarten and eventually the university lecture hall, they possess the exact psychological profile the institution expects. They navigate the system with ease because the rules match the environment they grew up in. But if the architecture of our schools is custom-built for one highly specific psychology, what happens to the brains and identities of the students who fall outside that baseline? The education system functions as a diagnostic tool for social class, rewarding the specific psychological traits of a middle-class upbringing as much as any measure of raw intelligence. At the lowest rung of the socioeconomic ladder, the K-12 student faces an entirely different biological reality. When impoverished students struggle academically, it is not a lack of ambition. Their neurobiology is being constantly rewritten by the intense stress of material scarcity. This illustrates allostatic load, wear and tear from chronic poverty-induced stress that pushes the threat detection center into the red. This hyperactivated limbic system traps the child in survival mode, causing the prefrontal cortex to visibly shrink and dim. That specific region is responsible for executive function. When it is impaired, a student loses the cognitive bandwidth required to focus on a lesson, regulate their attention, or make long-term plans. Our schools demand long-term academic planning and quiet focus, yet the crushing weight of poverty forces a child's brain into a short-term survival mode, penalizing them for successfully adapting to a traumatizing environment. Moving one rung up the ladder, working-class students face a different kind of psychological barrier when they transition into higher education. These students are typically raised with interdependent values. Their home environments prioritize community reliance, mutual support, and adjusting to the needs of their family. Elite universities implicitly reward the exact opposite. They are structured around independent values, requiring fierce competition, self-promotion, and viewing professors as personal resources to be exploited. This diagram illustrates cultural mismatch, the psychological conflict when a student's interdependent background collides with the university's fiercely independent expectations. This friction causes severe imposter syndrome and stereotype threat, driving distress that spikes cortisol levels, increases dropout risk, and drags down academic performance. The university's hidden curriculum takes the working-class student's greatest cultural strength, their deep reliance on community, and turns it into a profound academic liability. If the system is optimized for the middle class, we must investigate a common assumption that possessing vastly more wealth automatically creates a healthier psychological experience. For the upper middle class, the educational baseline mutates into a relentless rugrat race. Students are pressured to build flawless, hyper-competitive resumes to secure elite college admissions. This pressure strips away the intrinsic joy of learning, replacing it with a desperate need for extrinsic achievement. The result is a well-documented spike in clinical anxiety, depression, and severe emotional isolation from their parents. But the absolute apex of the economic ladder, the billionaire class and ultra-high net worth individuals, reveals an even darker reality. Children in these families frequently experience boarding school syndrome. This is a specific psychological trauma caused by early institutionalization, characterized by profound feelings of abandonment by parents and a sense of captivity within rigid elite schools. To survive the isolation and immense legacy pressure of these environments, these children learn to actively dissociate. This habitual emotional numbing, a survival strategy to protect against their environment, cauterizes their emotional range. This chronic emotional dissociation, paired with the isolating nature of extreme power, leads to physical shifts in the brain's architecture. These scans reveal reduced activity in mirror neuron systems, the circuitry responsible for empathy, and altered white matter networks that change how these individuals process social cues. This hidden curriculum exerts a systemic toll at every level, distorting human development and empathy from the bottom of the staircase to the absolute top.